Well, first they came for the Pop-Tarts, but I don't currently eat Pop-Tarts, so I said nothing. Now they've come for the Subway tuna sandwiches. Hi, I'm Scott Ott with Bill Whittle and Stephen Green. This episode of Right Angles brought to you by the members at BillWhittle.com who have already enjoyed a previous episode we did about a lawsuit against Kellogg's alleging that Pop-Tarts, strawberry Pop-Tarts specifically, do not contain very much strawberry. In fact, there are other fruits in them that far outmeasure strawberries as far as the filling content goes. Well, now we have a lawsuit, gentlemen, that's actually been in the system for a few months and recently got amended after a judge threw it out, and I'll explain why in a minute. This allegation is from a couple of plaintiffs, one of whom claims to have eaten 100 Subway tuna sandwiches between 2013 and 2019 and was startled to discover after they did some scientific testing, literally DNA testing, Steve Green, was startled to find that out of 20 samples, there were no of tuna from the tuna sandwiches, there were no detectable tuna DNA specimens. But in fact, all 20 of those samples had detectable chicken DNA, 11 of them had detectable pork DNA, and 7 of them cattle DNA. Stephen Green, Subway refutes this allegation that's filed in the lawsuit, says it's a trivial, frivolous lawsuit, says that their tuna is high quality, wild caught, and 100% tuna, and of course tries to reduce the credibility of the plaintiffs in the case. But you know you're in trouble, Steve, when you have to create a website called subwaytunafacts.com that has the headline, Subway tuna is real.
Wow. As you were detailing what they found in there, or before you got to the part where you detailed what they found in there, I thought you were going to say they were shocked to discover tuna in the Subway tuna. That would
be a more expected result.
Yes. Now, before I continue, on advice of my attorney, I would just like to state that everything I'm about to say is hypothetical, and I'm not actually impugning or implying anything going on with Subway's tuna sandwiches. So, with the legal disclaimer out of the way, what I want to know is, I'm actually very, very curious about this. Do they have a lab somewhere that works with various other proteins, pork, beef, chicken, to try and come up with something that is enough like tuna that if you smother it in enough mayonnaise and put it in some sickly sweet bread, that people will mistake it for tuna? Or do they just kind of glop together whatever it is they have on hand? Now, I'd be really impressed, if they had the mad scientist with, in a barnyard somewhere with all of these animal specimens working with test tubes and Bunsen burners and, I don't know, DNA sequencers and all the rest. But from the sound of it, that's not what's going on. They seem to, you said 11 samples had beef or, cow DNA, some other number of. So what it sounds like they're doing is it's whatever, again, this is hypothetical. It's just whatever they have on hand. They're just glopping it together. Now, I don't know, on the off chance that this hypothetical is true, I don't know if that means that I should be disappointed in Subway for trying to pass off this sort of random agglomeration, I can't even talk today, of animal parts. Thank you, of animal parts into tuna and hoping to get away with it? Or should I be disappointed in the Subway-loving American public for getting fooled for decades by this assortment of random meat parts being passed off as tuna? You tell me, Scott. I don't know.
Yeah, and I can make no evaluation of this, of course. I think on occasion I have had a tuna hoagie or whatever they call them at Subway. And by the way, Bill Whittle, the reason why a judge dismissed the case earlier this year, and then it's been amended and refiled, was because the judge said the plaintiffs could not point to any specific ad or language in packaging where Subway had made a misstatement. In other words, he wasn't ruling on the merits of whether or not there was actual tuna in the tuna sandwich or how much of the tuna sandwich was composed of tuna. But the fact that Subway, apparently the plaintiff could make no claim that Subway lied to them about the content. As the Kellogg's lawsuit averred that Kellogg's was saying these are strawberry Pop-Tarts or whatever. But the plaintiff says, look, when you look up at the menu, which she apparently did many, many times, she had 100 of these sandwiches, she claims. When you look up at the menu and it says tuna sandwich, what might one expect would be in that sandwich? And it doesn't say anything about any other ingredients in it. Bill, I guess I wonder whether frivolous lawsuits, like what they're alleging this one is, might actually serve a purpose in our society.
I don't like tuna, so none of this has anything to do with me. It's not my problem, and I don't care.
So now I don't know what to blame your mercurial personality on.
First of all, the claim that, well, we didn't claim it was tuna in the thing that we're advertising as a tuna sandwich. That seems an absurd thing to me.
Well, the Subway's not saying that. The judge is saying that the plaintiff could not point out any specific misstatement by Subway.
Right. So saying it's a tuna sandwich and there's no tuna in it is, to me, a pretty good claim that it's a tuna sandwich. But let's not linger there. Tuna is expensive. You catch one of these really big bluefin tunas, and they're worth $1,000 or something per fish for the really good stuff. I'm not imagining that Subway buys that particular quality of tuna. If there's no DNA of tuna in the tuna fish sandwich, then I suspect, as a hypothetical, that Steve has pretty much got it right, that what they've basically done is taken organic matter and given it a tuna flavor. It's entirely possible that all the oil that they press out of real tuna cans just gets scooped up. Maybe they squeegee off the floor, sail it over to the Subway thing, and then add it to the organic matter paste, and then a little mayonnaise, and off you go. Because seriously, it doesn't have to, I guess what I'm trying to say is, if it tastes like tuna, then, look, there's not an American alive today who has not made the mistake of looking closely at the inside of a chicken McNugget, right? We know it tastes like chicken, but that's not chicken. I don't know what it is, but it's a strange honeycomb structure, extremely low weight, low density. It is presumably amalgamations of chicken or avian type organic molecules, but nobody knows. I think, look, to be serious about this, on some level, yes, you do have a responsibility to put chicken in your chicken McNuggets and put tuna in your tuna fish sandwich. And if you're selling a tuna fish sandwich that has no tuna fish in it, then I think that's fraudulent. At the same time, I'm left with the same conclusion that I was left with before with the Pop-Tart story. There's not enough strawberries in Pop-Tarts. Does it taste like strawberry? Yes. Then I'm in. And ultimately, I think I kind of come down on this too. Does it taste like tuna? Yep. But there's no tuna in it. Nope. You want a 6-inch or a 12-inch? I think I'll take the 12-inch.
Toast it.
And extra mayonnaise, please.
That's right.
Hey, Scott, I just got
Steve.
a text from my attorney while Bill was wrapping up, and he has advised me to remind people that Subway's tuna is free-range tuna raised in the kindest and greenest livestock facilities in the Midwestern United States.
What if they use nothing but chicken of the sea tuna?
Well, see, here's the thing. A few years ago, there was a great deal of alarm, and then that was taken to comedic heights by the late Rush Limbaugh, and when people were claiming that there were sea turtles that were caught up in tuna nets. Dolphins rather. I'm sorry, dolphins, like porpoises that were caught up in tuna nets. And Rush did a commercial where a kid was saying he didn't like these tuna sandwich because it no longer had the great taste of dolphin. And so, anyway, so we finally get to the point where, in this lawsuit where it's being claimed that there's no actual tuna in there. Well, you know what that means? There's also no actual dolphin in there. Because if they're not really catching tuna on the high seas, then they're not accidentally snaring the porpoises and including those in the sandwich. So you think that these people would be happy. And the other thing is, Bill, with the McNuggets, the great advantage that they have in the manufacture of McNuggets is that everything tastes like chicken. And so you can put almost anything in there.
Maybe that's where the tuna is. Maybe all the tuna is in the chicken McNuggets.
That's right. Now, and I guess what we're finding out by this lawsuit is, frankly, that everything tastes like tuna as well. I know that there is a certain sense with anything that comes in a can, when you open the can, everything smells like dog food. So this may be another one of those phenomenon. I am not greatly alarmed by this. I was greatly alarmed when somebody told me after I had ordered at a Chinese restaurant some crab rangoon that the crab content of crab rangoon is approximately 0. And I thought, well, then what the heck is it in there? It's got a texture. It's got some sort of flavor. It's just some sort of biomass that makes me feel like I'm eating crab. In any case, I as long as they're not poisoning the American public, I'm grateful. However, why not call it some magical new thing? Like, if it turns out that it really is not wild-caught 100% natural tuna, then they would have been just as well off saying, hey, we've created this fantastic thing that's an inexpensive source of protein and no porpoises were injured in the making of this sandwich. I think that they would have been the darlings of the left. Instead, they find themselves in court. And I do invite you to go to subwaytunafacts.com, because I don't think we've done an effective job at portraying Subway's side of the case here. And I think that they should have a chance to adequately defend themselves. This will not inhibit me from stopping at a Subway. The fact that my weight loss regimen requires me to never even glance sideways at a piece of bread will keep me from going to Subway. For Bill Whittle and Stephen Green, I'm Scott Ott. Thanks to the members at BillWhittle.com for making Right Angle possible.